Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
A Central Kentucky community remembers the man that they elected to be their new mayor who passed away suddenly yesterday.
A string of car break-ins may finally come to an end who deputies believe is responsible for the Central Kentucky crime spree.
Plus, a classic check scam. A scammer trying to buy real items with fake cash. Tips on how to make sure no thief pockets your cash and your belongings coming up.
WKYT News at 5:30 starts now. Good evening to you. A Central Kentucky town is mourning today after the man they just elected mayor died suddenly.
T.J. Hill ran on a platform of unification when he was elected mayor of Stanford. He died yesterday in his home, and the coroner believes it was of natural causes. Hill would have taken over the town's leadership in January. WKYT's Phil Pendleton talked to those who knew him best on how he's being remembered and what will happen with the job of mayor. It's our top story at 5:30.
TJ was always honorable. And
remembering.
Memories come back in a flood.
Three friends who grew up with big dreams of one day leading their community, or at least helping their heroes do it.
As a teenager, into our 20s, 30s, now 50s, putting up political signs, supporting our friends.
David Gambrill and John Hackley had both won races and were waiting for their friend T.J. Hill's moment in the sun that finally came on November 4th when he was elected mayor.
All that he had worked for, the kind of person he had been, how he had lived, all of that was acknowledged by the people of Stanford on election night.
But the highest of highs quickly became the lowest of lows Thursday afternoon.
As heartbroken as I am for his son, I thank God that my buddy exited this world at the very top.
The new Stanford City Council will decide what happens now, but the city attorney and a longtime friend of T.J. Hill's tells me the answer to that question is a little bit premature to give just now.
We're going to honor him for several days before we're concerned with a succession plan.
Yet whoever that person is, Gambrill says he knows what their first goal should be.
I think the voters of Stanford sent a very clear message. They wanted a unified town.
Choosing their leader may very well be their first agenda item after the first of the year. In Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Visitation for T.J. Hill will be from 10 to 1 and 4:30 to 9 Tuesday at the Stewart Underwood Auditorium at Lincoln County High School. The funeral will be at 1 p.m. on Wednesday at the auditorium. Sperlin Funeral Home is in charge of the arrangements.
A tip leads investigators to a man wanted for breaking into dozens of cars. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 starts in Clark County. Deputies arrested 29-year-old Aaron Ferguson on Wednesday. He faces 12 counts of theft by unlawful taking, and more charges are expected to be filed. The break-in started back in July. Officers found most of the items stolen from those cars in Ferguson's house on McClure Road.
I'm sure he was selling some of it because we haven't recovered everything that has been reported stolen.
Investigators are asking anyone who is trying to find their stolen property to call the sheriff's office. Ferguson will be arraigned Monday. Staying in Clark County now, a grand jury has indicted a man accused of firing at a group of people at Harmon Field in Winchester. Back in September, police say 21-year-old Charlie Rogers Jr. leaned out of a window in a moving truck and fired several shots. One person was hit in the leg. Rogers has been indicted for first-degree assault and 4 counts of first-degree wanton endangerment. And in Anderson County, a van plows through the corner of a home and ends up in a pond. According to the Anderson News, the van hit a home on Running Brook Drive. First responders say the driver doesn't remember the incident and likely blacked out. The driver was not seriously hurt. Police are not sure how fast that van was going when it hit the corner of the home. That van belongs to the Overhead Door Company in Lexington.
A dose of fall weather rolling back into the Bluegrass State. We'll see temperatures surge this weekend, but not for long. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's tracking the brief warm-up. Chris?
Yeah, brief, I don't care. Anytime we can just kind of shake off some of the ice that is out there across the land, let's go ahead and do it to it. It is still November after all, Mother Nature. Let's get into what we have going on. Temperatures have dropped into the mid and upper 30s, and as the sun is setting across central and eastern Kentucky, we've got the low humidity out there. Still a little patch of snow or two showing up across the region on our Skycam. But with that low humidity will come a quick drop in temperatures over the next couple of hours. Also gives you a nice little static alert as well. So, you know, kiddos, you like to kind of rub your feet on the carpet. They go up and touch someone. Yeah, it'll throw a little shock into them. Feels like it is 32 into Lexington, 31 showing up across Frankfort. Live first alert defender, nothing across central and eastern Kentucky, though clouds are beginning to increase to our west right on cue. Look at the rain breaking out. Some of those showers will try to scoot in here very late tonight, early tomorrow morning. In far northern Kentucky, there's a chance that some of that could be in frozen form. We've talked about that for a while. Those showers will have a lot of friends coming with them by the end of the weekend as rain chances go up along with the wind and the milder temperatures. And then, guys, winter comes back into town. It's just a weekend trip he's taking out of the Bluegrass State. We'll time his arrival back into Kentucky with the 7-day forecast here in about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Lexington's Division of Parks and Recreation is looking for a new director.
According to our partners at the Herald Leader, the city fired Director Brad Chambers less than 6 months after he was hired. Chambers was given a 6-month probationary period when he was hired on June 2nd, but was let go this week. General Services Commissioner Jeff Reed will be the interim director until a permanent Parks director is hired. Open enrollment through the state's health benefit exchange is going strong. The governor's office says that as of today, more than 73,000 people have visited Connect's website, and nearly 6,500 new applications have been submitted. Last year, more than 521,000 Kentuckians enrolled in the health care coverage through Connect. The second enrollment period started Saturday and ends February 15th.
It seemed like the perfect online transaction, a buyer wanting to pay more than the seller is asking, but it's also a sure sign of a scam. Apartments, boats, and cars, all available on Craigslist, and sometimes you can get a deal. But some users of the online auction site try to take advantage of consumers.
The first day that we had the listing up, I got an email that didn't look right.
Stephen was trying to sell his mother's car when he got a question asking about the price from a potential buyer.
I wrote him back. I said, $3,000. So then I got a reply back that he was going to give me an extra $100 not to accept anybody else's offer, and that he was going to give me my price that I wanted for the vehicle.
Initially, Stephen was thrilled, but that feeling changed when he was being asked for personal information.
He wanted my PayPal information so that he could go ahead and transfer me the funds.
This potential buyer hadn't asked any of the important questions about buying a car. He seemed to be in a rush.
He didn't send anybody over to look at the vehicle, but he's going to send somebody to pick it up. And he doesn't have time to look at the vehicle. That's not right. It doesn't make any sense.
You're putting something up for $1,000, they're offering you $2,000, it's going to catch your eye. And of course, that's where the scam really lies.
Stephen called authorities when he became suspicious.
The check or financial instrument is fake, you put it into your bank account, you withdraw this money, you send them the extra $1,000 back.
A few days later, banks realized the buyer's check or money order is fraudulent. The victim is on the hook for the money.
And you haven't sold your item. You feel victimized. You feel like if somebody invaded your privacy because it's on your computer, and it almost feels like somebody came into your house and took your money.
Postal inspectors recommend you approach all online transactions with caution. If you're sent money orders or checks, be sure they clear your bank before you turn over the item you're selling.
Chase ATMs will be disappearing from Speedway gas stations. We'll find out why the bank is scraping their logo off the machines next.
I'm Bill Bryant. Kentucky's Lieutenant Governor talks about her new job and the future. And Kentucky's congressional delegation weighs in on President Obama's moves on immigration. The bottom line is ahead.
And a Russian website with access to thousands of personal webcams. Coming up on WKYT News at 6, how to make sure that your webcam is safe.